recording to record it and share my screen with you guys and kind of show you. Well, let me say first, I attended a session at TCEA where they talked about doing digital breakouts through Google Maps. So I'm going to kind of show you the way she did it first, and then kind of show you how how I've kind of evolved it into the digital breakouts through Google Sites. And but it kind of came from the birth of this idea that I went to see at TCEA. And if you know the I think it's called Fried Technology. This was the lady that did it, and this was the website. And I'm going to put this website in the chat because I can get to the chat. There we go. So that everybody can see what I'm seeing. So this is her website. And on it, it talked about making the do-it-yourself challenge-based learning activity through Google Maps. And this is the video that showed you exactly how to do it. So I'm not going to show you the video. I'm going to let you look at it. But she takes it through how to make a plan, how to get kids to work in teams and use different materials through Google Maps. So I'm going to start there and kind of show you what she's showed you in the video. So in my breakout, this is my digital breakout website, which I did the 7 wonders of the natural world. And I went through it with my dad yesterday. So most everything is ready for me to give to kids, but I haven't finalized just a couple of things. But when I started it, I started with just some notes. So I'm just going to open my notes pages because I wanted to make sure that I had everything exactly the way I wanted it. So I wrote everything in here. And once I got the template down, everything else, what? Oh, sorry. Once I got the template down, everything else was easy. And I know that I wanted to do, because at first I was going to think about doing the 7 wonders of the ancient world, but then I started looking at that stuff, and it was so much of it was about ancient Roman, Greek gods and goddesses, and I just didn't want to mess with that. And then I started thinking about the 7 wonders of the modern world, because that's like the Taj Mahal and some of the other structures, but then I stumbled across the 7 wonders of the natural world, and I thought, bingo, this is the one I want. And then so I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to use and how I wanted to use it. I knew I wanted to tie in resources that the district already subscribes to. So you'll see Learn 360, and you'll see Britannica Image Quest and Britannica articles. I also, once I wrote everything out in my notes page, and then it was really easy for me to just copy and paste. But one of the things that I would start out is, if you're doing this, is, begin with the end in mind. What is it? What is your end product? What is it that you want kids to be able to do? And some of them, if I go back to her website, this was the itinerary that we went through. And I think Andrew is in here. He did this with me. We did this together. So there's 3 different destinations that this is hers, the way she did it. And I'll explain more about how she did it using Google Maps. So there's like destination 1, brave the Amazon. And in this destination, she practiced these specific skills: how to create a Google folder, share it with your instructor, share a group slides presentation with collaborators, make a copy of a doc and use Google Translate. So those were the skills practiced for destination 1. Destination 2, mysteries of Egypt, and we could pick where we wanted to go, if we wanted to go to Egypt or if we wanted to go to Norway. But so this was kind of her notes. She had these things set aside in her notes page, how she wanted each place to go, what were the skills she wanted for each destination. And so that, like at the top of the link that I send you already, if you click itinerary at the top, that's where she went. That's where I went to get here. So I'm going to go back to my Google And I made a folder, and everything that I have is in this one 7 Wonders folder that I put all my sample journal page, which I'll go over here in a second, my notes page, all of my Google Forms, which act as my actual breakouts that give them the link to go to the next page. All of that is in one folder. I even played around with the maps feature a little bit, but it didn't really give me what I wanted when I made my Google site. So I'm going to show you her way first. So in my Google folder here, my 7 Wonders, to make a new map, you would go to New and then More, and then a Google My Maps. Create in the shared folder, yes. And she goes over all of this in the video. And so what I have here is it says untitled map. I can click there and I can rename it 7 Wonders of the Natural World. I could add a description here, maybe give some instructions for students if I wanted what I wanted them to accomplish. And then these layers were the different destinations. So here on her website where she have destination 1, Brave the Amazon, that would be her first layer. Brave the Amazon. I'm doing the 7 Wonders, so I might call this first one, oh goodness, Mount Everest. And it says I could import, so it kind of comes in, it says adds places to this layer by drawing or importing data. I could do that if I wanted. I don't. I'm going to go up here at the top and I'm going to Google, search at the top for Mount Everest. And it's going to take me to this site. So if I wanted to here, I'm going to add this to my map, which gives me a point over here, which I can then edit. And in my edit is where I'm going to put what I want my students to do. Like where it says back over here on her website, where it says skills practice, create a Google folder and share with your instructor. These are the skills that I'm going to put one in each point on my map here at Mount Everest. So if I wanted to have one point here and then add another point on another area, this is why it didn't work for me, because I wasn't able to put all the things I wanted to put into each one, because that's why I ended up going to the Google site. So if I wanted to say that here I wanted students to learn how to complete any skill, I would put all the information here, like the way I have it set in my notes. Like in my notes, I had to search Britannica Image Quest to find images to add to your journal. Read an article from Britannica about the Great Barrier Reef. Be sure to use your Google account information. I wanted too much here in my little multimedia website. So it didn't end up working for me in this way. And I think Michelle has actually gone over this with us in the past about how to make Google Maps and how to add this stuff to it. And then if I wanted to add a second layer, I would go to add layer, make this second layer. I think another one would be Victoria Falls. And save. If I was in that layer, I would now go to Victoria Falls. And I would add this to my map, which would give me a way to edit it. And again, I would put all the things I wanted them to do. So it could in fact work, but not the way I wanted it to end up working. So I'm not going to go too much farther here to show you exactly what I've done, how to do the Google Maps, because she goes over this very well. If back on this website, that's hers. If you go over to the Do-It-Yourself Challenge here on this side and scroll down, this video that she's created right here takes you exactly step by step through all that stuff I was just showing you. So I want to move on and show you a little bit more about my Google site, which is this right here. And it took me a minute. It took me a couple of weeks actually to kind of get it in my head the way I wanted it to be. So once I actually decided on the 7 wonders of the natural world, I decided on I knew I wanted to use Google, not Google. Well, I knew I wanted to use Google Sites, but I also knew that I wanted to use district resources, things that we already have subscribed to. I didn't want to use, I thought about using YouTube, but there's so much on YouTube. Like, you will literally search for 3 hours for the perfect video to add to this website. So what I ended up doing was I had a little introduction here, and then I add a journal page. Oh, let me put this in. This is a published website. It's not perfect. Let me go back and see if I can get back to my chat. There, okay. I think okay. Hopefully those people are coming in. Okay, so I just put the link to my 7 Wonders of the World site, which is a published site. It is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry it took me so long to add you. Welcome.
That's okay. I didn't know you were in a class.
Okay, you can say. So in the 7 Wonders of the World right here. Okay, I think I got him muted. Okay. It says your journal page. When you click this, it will ask you to make a copy. Click to make a copy. And then you can view the sample journal page, which is just a sample. The idea is that students would collect pictures, collect notes, collect any kind of thoughts that they have on their journal page. And at the end of at the finale, at the end, then they can create a video of some kind or a presentation of some kind that is an optional presentation. So the first site says to visit the Great Barrier Reef, and it takes you to the very first one. And again, it tells you to click here for the Britannica image quest. You do have to log in. I think it's GPISD for the username and grand for the password. You do, and I didn't add that to here, but students and teachers can get that from you if necessary. Read the article from the Great Barrier Reef. Each one of these things, when you click it, it will redirect you automatically. That's one of the reasons why I went with Britannica instead of World Book. World Book wouldn't let me link it directly. I did also put it at reading level 2, but I put in the instructions that it can be differentiated down to reading level 1 or even up to reading level 3. The idea here is that students would collect information if they want it as they went through here, whatever they found interesting to add to their journal. Then I used Learn 360, which all students and teachers have rights to these videos through that using their Google, I believe, using their Google information. And then as I scroll down, I did insert a map here. And one of the things I liked about the map, if you click it, it'll open up. It has, once it loads, so it has this satellite image, which I thought was super cool to see the satellites. And then on the left-hand side here, it has 360 pictures that you could click and drag and see. And they had a lot of these that kids could explore through the Google Maps. And I went through this with my dad too, and he was just absolutely blown away, fascinated by it. I don't know if no, that's not gonna work. And then let me go back here, close it out, and then at the end it says to take a Google quiz. Now, the Google quizzes I've done very specifically where they have to get the answers right in order to break out and on to the next one. So in the Google quiz, if you open it up, it says no Googling allowed. All the answers can be found on the website, in the article, in the video, or map. And I tried to be very specific. I'm not trying to hold people up. This is supposed to be something that's fun. So I don't really need them to, I didn't want this to be too difficult. But these Google Forms can be, have what they call, I think it's called responsive text, where if they don't get the right answer, it will give them a hint, or if you give them directions on where to go. Like this says that how long is the Great Barrier Reef? And let's say I just wanted to say 1,000 meters. And then if I go down here, it tells me this is my answer will be in a number of miles. Okay, so if I go back to the Seven Wonders website, scroll up, a lot of times I've put the answers like right in this very first sentence too. But in here, the answer is in the article. And right here, 1,250 miles right there. So it says that the answer will be a number of miles. So I'm going to say 1,250. And as you see, now that I go to the next answer, it doesn't give me any text. Oh, that one isn't. Okay, that's one of my mistakes. I need to go back and fix. How many different types of hard coral? I happen to remember that was 300. So once I click on submit, says, congratulations, you've broken out of the Great Barrier Reef and you're moving onward to the Grand Canyon. Follow the link below to continue your journey. And then it gives you a link, which is going to direct us onto the Grand Canyon. And this is where my notes came in, because instead of having to rewrite all of this stuff, I wrote it one time on my notes page, and then I copied and pasted it from my notes page into the website. So I didn't have to continue to rewrite this over and over and over and over again. It did take me a minute to find the Britannica Image Quest images, or it took me some time to find like Grand Canyon. If I click on that, because I'm already logged in, it's going to take me right to the Britannica Image Quest, where students could download pictures for their journal page, which is just a Google Doc. So does anybody have any questions so far on what I've done, how I've done it? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Was your primary source for like moving people to the next level just the Google Forms?
Yes. Yes, the Google Forms that I used, which did allow me to, let me see here. Let me go back to my folder. Okay, so let me find, this is my Great Barrier Reef Google form. And I think I may have missed some things in chat. I don't think the Street View worked. I tried that out underwater. The Street View, I don't think it worked directly. But I'm going to go back and try that, Sharon. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Andrew, for sending the link. And then I'll send you the other one here in a second. Okay, so I just didn't want to get too far behind. So in the Google Forms, I choose a short answer here from the answer choice. And then when I edited it, let me go, like I'm going to add a new question. Okay. So it would be, I would choose short answer. And then let's say my question would be, what type of coral is the whatever? I would make it a required question. And then here I click on these three little dots and I choose response validation. And that's what it is, where I have to put in exactly what I want the answer to be. So I can choose here, do I want it text? Do I want it a number? Do I want it a unit of measurement or length or regular expression? And this I would ask for text. I would say that it does contain, because notice you can also do URL. This was one of the ones that they did in our training that we had was to use a URL, because it said to create a shared folder and then put the shared link in the Google form. And that's one of the questions that it had. So if I wanted it to contain pink coral, I really don't know what type of coral. And then if it's wrong, I would say, whoops, please refer to the Britannica, Brita, for this answer. Or like up here when I said answer will be a number of miles. So I knew that it was going to be just a number, 1,250. Another way to get around that would be the Great Barrier Reef is blank miles long. So that it would be an actual, so there would be no discrepancies against what it could be for the answer. And I did use that technique in other ones. And some of these I need to already go back and fix. What type of curl is the strongest? Oh, how many different types of curl? This one I put, be sure to only use a number. So I can tell them where to find the answer. I can tell them some hints about it. There's all different ways that I could fix that. Does that make sense, Leanne?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
So another way, like something I would also do in my notes that I really didn't hear because I kind of put it all together one step at a time, was maybe instead of doing it like that, I could write the questions out in advance. I'm going to go on and delete this question because I don't want it there. And you can always preview your Google form. But then I also added that link to the end. So in the settings here, I could have it collect email. I didn't want to totally restrict it to Grand Prairie ISD because at the time my parents wanted to try it out. And so I didn't want to make it so only Grand Prairie ISD people could use it. I wanted them to be able to look at it. But in the presentation down here is where I could put the confirmation message at the end. The congratulations, you've broken out of the Great Barrier Reef and you're moving onward to the Grand Canyon. And then here's the link to the next site. And it takes you all the way through to the end. So that's kind of a basic rundown of my site. So now I'm going to kind of shift over and show you the Google Sites aspect. I don't know if you've had any chances to play with Google Sites at all, but it is pretty cool, pretty kind of a nice, easy way to have information collected. I've done a couple of different lessons using Google Sites. One of them I did for a second grade class that was specifically on, she wanted a paired text where her kids were just really, really, really interested in dolphins. So I kind of did a lesson with them about a nonfiction dolphins, kind of like a main idea and details kind of lesson with the dolphins, the nonfiction, and then like a summarizing or a summary or a sequencing skill for the actual the fiction text, which I got off Sora. I saw somebody had a question. I want to get to my chat. For some reason on share, I don't know if anybody else has this problem. It's hard for me to get to that little bar at the top. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Okay, so onward about the Google site. So I made this as a home page. I have each of my next pages down here and the finale. I'll show you that at the end here in a second. All the pictures that I got off of here were from Britannica, or I used the Google feature where they had the copyright images there. But when you add the pages, notice these are not navigate. Like I don't have a bar at the top, or I don't have anything else that people could. I asked her to join me. I'm not sure why she's not here. Maybe I should text her and that would help me out. Hang on really quickly. I'm sorry. I didn't want to. Okay. Hopefully she'll get that and join us. Okay, so if you notice, these are all like there's a slash through it. There, I hid them from navigation. And to do that, if you click on the side here, it says show in navigation. If I click that, it's going to add it for me up here at the top. So if I am on the home page or any other page, it will have that link at the top, but I didn't want them to be able to access the other links to the page without first completing the first one. So when I added a page, I would click there and then hide from navigation, which removed that from the top so nobody can see it, so they can't move forward. And then, so adding a page, I'm going to start like I'm going to add a new page. I'm going to say bonus page and done. Now notice it does kind of give me the same picture that it gave me on my front page, and I think that's set that way. And let's see. So if I wanted to change the image, I would go here to, some of them I uploaded from Britannica Image Quest, and others of them I just selected. So if I went to select image here, and let's say that I wanted to do a Google search, and it says here that results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. So I know that they are safe. So I'm going to say nature. I just want a nature scene of some kind. And I can go through and pick whichever one that I want. And sometimes when kids are doing this stuff, they get kind of really kind of hooked up on finding the exact right picture. So, and I know that I'm the same way. Like if it doesn't look right, or if it doesn't do the same, like here, okay, so this is not so bad. But if the text doesn't stand out real well, I can sit here and just go through as many as I need to change that image. I can also upload an image, like if I found it off of the Britannica Image Quest, or I could change my header type altogether to not include a picture. Right now I'm on the banner. I can, if I wanted it to just be the title only, or if I wanted a larger banner, I could do that. Or if I wanted a cover page, but I have a very small banner here. That's the one that I like the best. So I can go through and pick the exact right page. I'm sorry, the exact right picture that I want. And then if I go over here to just to themes, it does give me different themes I can choose from. I don't have too many here, but I just kept it on simple because I like simple the best. And say over here on the insert tab, these are the 4 main things you can do. So if I wanted to insert a text box, and then I would copy the information, whatever I wanted from my notes page. Once I got it perfect, okay, once I got it perfect, exactly the way I wanted it, if I wanted to tweak it at all, so I'm going to copy it here, and I'm going to paste it. Oh, I've lost it. I've lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Paste it directly into there. And then if I needed to edit it, instead of welcome to the Great Barrier Reef, I could say welcome to the bonus page. And I could edit whatever text I needed to in here. A lot of those, the ones that I have on my other pet web pages are the same way. I use the same format over and over and over again. So I could upload directly from my Google Drive, which I've actually done quite a lot on a web page that I've created, kind of like an instructional media web page. But if I had something directly in my Seven Wonders folder, let's say I had something else I wanted to upload directly, this would embed it in a way that it would be shown on the screen. Instead, I didn't want it to do that because I wanted them to be able to click it individually. So that's why I linked it on mine instead of adding it. But you can embed it directly in there. The images I could upload or select in the same way that I did the header there. And then for the Learn 360 videos, I did the embed tool, because I could embed it by a URL, but I use the embed code. So if I go to, let me open the GPISD website and go to the Learn 360. Whoops, going too fast. Okay. Let's say in Learn 360, I wanted to search volcanoes. And let's say I really loved this first one. If I opened it up, I can click share here, but if I opened it up because I wanted to preview it first, because hopefully we'd all want to preview, I would go to share right here, and then I would choose the embed or link, and this is the embed code. So I would copy the embed code, go back to my Seven Wonders, paste the embed code in, and it would tell me, okay, is this what you expected to see here? And I would insert it. And that's how I would embed this video into, let me make it, there we go. I didn't want it to cut off. Come on. Okay. Okay, so far so good, right? And then, so I'm going to come back to these layouts, but then down here at the bottom, there's some other things that you can add. Collapsible text, which I think if you click it, it'll open up. I could add a table of contents if I wanted. If I wanted it to be something where people could skip around, I could do that. The image carousel, kind of like what we have on our websites, where the images flip through. Buttons, dividers. I've used dividers quite a lot. YouTube is a nice little tool to, because it'll embed it automatically for you. The calendar, the map is the other one that I did. This is what I used on my other page. Let's see. What could I put here? How do I spell Hawaii? Hawaii, H-A-W-A-I. There you go. I knew it was in there somewhere. And if I wanted to zoom in a little bit here and select, and it's gonna embed that right in there for me. Then if I open in a new tab, it'll kind of give me a little bit about what I see there, along with the pictures, the quick facts. Let's see if we get any good 3D pictures. We know it's a 3D picture if it has that little spinny circle in the corner like they did in the Great Barrier Reef. I don't see any 3D pictures here, but it does give me some really good pictures of Hawaii. Okay. The one thing that that I do like about Google Sites are these layouts. So it will give you, if you wanted to use one of these particular layouts, kind of like a Google Slides will, if it gives you pictures and text and stuff like that, you can use that. It just depends on the way you want the layout to look. I chose not to do that because I wanted a very straightforward design. Although if I were to go back and do it again, I might choose a couple of these layouts where I had, instead of having it one on top of the other the way I'd had it, maybe use this layout where I have the video and the text below it that had the instructions like watch this video and my cat wants to join me, and watch this video and take notes and put it on your journal page. But it depends on what the function of your website is. I tend to stick to a more simpler design than a more complicated design. I know that may not be as aesthetically pleasing as some designs are, but that's just the way I've done it in the past. That's the way I'm more comfortable. And then any other questions about the design or the use of Google Sites? I love embed codes too. Awesome blossom. Okay, anybody have any questions so far before it will work really well with the digital breakouts. I mean, for teachers, for like a PD with teachers, especially if I wanted to talk specifically about district resources. I could see how that would be a good activity for them to use. I think the more we can get in front of them and talk about our district resources, I think the better, because they don't use them enough. I think Kathy would agree. So yes. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure I've said everything I wanted to say. I think I have. Does anybody have any ideas you would share that of ways that you would use this with students or like with teachers? I think using it as a staff development would be great. Anybody else have any ideas of how they could use a digital breakout like this, or want me to go over anything again? Any questions?
I was going to say, you could almost adapt this to like change up the way you're given a lesson. And you could, like, if you're presenting a new concept or something, maybe the kids are watching a short Khan Academy video or a short how-to video, or maybe the teachers even made a short how-to video, and like you introduce a concept and you walk them through a couple of things, and they have to still navigate through 4 or 5 different pages because they've got the start of this lesson and they've got the middle part and they've got the end, and it's like little checkpoints. All those little quizzes are checkpoints for a new concept that they're learning or something. It's a lot. It's maybe a lot of work to get through, like one concept, but maybe just to change things up, or to maybe you don't have 4 pages, maybe you just have 2 pages, or something like that. But you could almost adapt this to anything that you're teaching. It's kind of cool. I like it.
Thank you. An end of unit review, have students build the site based on learning. I think that would be really cool. The one issue I've seen with the students making those sites is that this doesn't work well on the iPad. And I think, but it will work on the laptops, because we do have laptops on campus. But the iPad doesn't seem to be as seamless and does have some issues creating Google Sites. Amy used it for Keynote and Padlet because it can require a password. I haven't found that. That was kind of my first, oh, the Padlet can use a password. Okay. Because my first idea was to have a password protected Google site instead of having like a Google form used as to get me to the next site. My first idea was somehow to password protect the Google site, where the students had to find the hidden message or the phrase or whatever the exact thing was, and then that would be the password for the next site. But I couldn't actually formulate that together, so I ended up sticking with the Google Forms and the responsive text. But yeah, I remember Amy doing that with the password for the Padlet. Was that part of the digital citizenship lesson? Like I'm reaching back in the recesses of my brain. Digital breakouts have been around for a really long time. This was just my take on it based on the Google Maps one that I saw at TCEA. And I kind of reformulated it into this. Does anybody else have anything you'd like to share? Bueller? I got a couple chuckles on that. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so we can all see each other and have a chat if we like. Does anybody, would you like to say anything or no? Good. You're welcome. I'm going to have this in a video, so you can always refer back to it. I'll send out a link. I'm going to upload it into my Google Drive, and I'll send out a link to the IMS and IMA team. So if anybody would like to see it, you can, or refer back to it. It'll be there. But reach out to me if you'd like. I'm here for you. If you have something, or you're like, how does she do that one more time? You know, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Call me.
Hey.
Hey, how are you? Oh, let me stop
Cool.
recording.
Doing good.
Stopped. Okay.